Now we're going to go to former homicide detective Mark Furman, who's done his usual excellent job putting together the timeline of the murder of Stephanie Flores.
Geraldo, we're standing in front of the casino where Joran van der Sloot and Stephanie Flores met in the early morning hours of Sunday. Now, in those early morning hours, it's reported currently that Stephanie Flores was up as much as possibly $3,000 when she was actually contacted by Joran van der Sloot. Another twist to the story. In this casino in those early morning hours, there was a Puerto Rican salsa singer that vacations here and plays poker. He recognized Joran van der Sloot from the American media that he views in Puerto Rico. He went to security and notified them that this is a dangerous man. At about sometime around the 4:30, quarter to 5 hour, Stephanie Flores and Joran van der Sloot left this casino in her black Jeep Cherokee. They left this casino en route to his hotel. We're standing in front of Hotel TAC. This is where Joran van der Sloot has been staying since May 14th. Now, in the early morning hours of May 30th, at just a little before 5 a.m., Stephanie Flores, the victim, and Joran van der Sloot came to this hotel and were observed going to his room. They walked into the lobby, went to his room. We know that. At about 8 o'clock, Joran van der Sloot exits the room, gets 2 cups of coffee, and comes back to the room. At about 8:45, he exits the room with 1 cup of coffee and then leaves, presumably in the victim's vehicle, which was abandoned several kilometers from here. The receptionist here actually found the victim lying on the floor, fully clothed, on her back, blood coming from her left ear and blood coming from her nose. There was a considerable amount of trauma to the rear of her head from a blunt force object that caused hemorrhaging of the brain. That was the cause of death.
Mark's live now in Peru for us. You know, the salsa singer who recognizes Joran van der Sloot and tells the authorities, that's one thing. At what point did they realize that Joran van der Sloot and Stephanie had left together and they had it on videotape?
You know, Geraldo, it's really unclear as far as the casino exactly what that meant. Of course, there's a 3-day lapse. So by the time that Stephanie Flores is found, then they start backtracking, and she had told her friends, well, she actually dropped her friends off after she was at the casino and then went back and with Joran van der Sloot, then they left the casino later hours. So with backtracking through the father and her cell phone, they were able to go back to the casino, and then they realized. But, you know, Geraldo, the security that is notified, I'm not sure how much they could have done at that point other than say, leave the casino, and then Stephanie Flores probably would have left with Joran anyway.
But, Mark, what about this 3-day gap? I mean, a prominent man's daughter disappears from a casino at 4:45, and 3 days it takes them to open up Joran van der Sloot's hostel room?
Well, they didn't know it was Joran van der Sloot. That's the first thing. If security would have made a note of what the singer from Puerto Rico had said, then they would have been able to connect the dots up there. But the family, when her vehicle was abandoned and found in a less than good neighborhood, abandoned, they knew that there was something foul that had gone wrong with her. I mean, there had been, at the very least, a kidnapping or a robbery.
The foulness is called Joran van der Sloot. Mark Furman, thank you very much. I look forward to your further reports from the location. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the criminal complaint against Joran van der Sloot. This is these are the criminal charges, which are wire fraud and extortion that were filed by the feds. But here's what happened. May 10th, they sting Joran van der Sloot in Aruba. They get him in a hotel room that's all wired up, and they get him to say to representatives of Natalie Holloway's family that where he left her body, what he did with her. In exchange for that information, he wants $250,000. He gets $15,000 cash. That's May 10th. May 10th, they could have arrested him right then and there. They did not. May 13th, he leaves Aruba. He goes to Peru. and this subsequent tragedy ensues. Beau, Dietl, you know that's what happened more or less.
Exactly what happened. But it wasn't. It was $25,000. It was $10,000 in cash that were counted out. 15 was wire transfer for the reason to get him on a wire fraud and plus the extortion. What happened then, he also made some kind of a statement that I can't say right now about Holloway, about Natalie Holloway, about him doing something.
Let's be clear. I don't think I was clear enough to the audience. He got that money in exchange for his giving them information on how he killed Natalie Holloway 5 years ago
and where the body. So what happens is you got $25,000, 15 wire transfer, so you got him on a wire transfer, 10,000 cash counted out. All of a sudden now, the Aruban authorities knew all about this. The the FBI were there. They had over 10 agents over there, and then all of a sudden he's let go. This is on the 10th. The problem here is,
wait a second.
Aruba knows
he's on a tiny island of Aruba, and he manages to elude the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
You're talking about May 13th, he disappears. But, Geraldo, you got two different things happening there. He makes statements now implicating himself again with the murder of Holloway. Why didn't the Aruban police, who were privy of this whole thing going on, why didn't they collar him for that? And why didn't the FBI take him down?
And he uses that money, ladies and gentlemen, to go to Peru.
To South America.
The bitter irony of this.
When, you know what? The thing that bothers me, Geraldo, this guy's been traveling all over the world. Interpol and the FBI better get together, look at his passport, see where the heck he has gone. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is a psychopathic murderer. There's going to be other kids that are dead.
This is a Dutch Ted Bundy.
And they found 2 pills there, two roofies in the car. This is his M.O.
That's the only way losers score. Natalie Holloway's mom, our friend Beth Twitty, issued a statement saying that she extends her deepest sympathy to the Flores family in Peru. She prays for swift justice. Brother Craig spoke today with Natalie's stepdad.
Geraldo, anger and frustration over the arrest of Joran Sloot as a suspect in the killing of yet another woman can really be felt here in Mountain Brook, Alabama. I'm with Jug Twitty. He's the stepfather of Natalie Holloway. How did you find out that he was arrested?
Actually, my sales manager called me and said it just came on AP.
And how did you feel about that, going through what you went through with Natalie's disappearance?
My thoughts and prayers go out to Stephanie's parents, and because I know what they're going through. Beth and I went through that. But, you know, this kid is he's a psychopath. He's a monster.
5 years ago to the day Stephanie Flores went missing, Natalie Holloway disappeared while on a high school graduation trip to Aruba. She was last seen with Joran Sloot leaving this nightclub. But when the girl's family confronted Joran, they were stonewalled by him, his father, and ultimately the chief of police at the time of the young girl's disappearance.
I blame Van der Straten, who was the first chief of police in this whole investigation in Aruba. They took the car, but they did not get the evidence out of there. And the evidence was there just because Van der Straten and Joran's father were friends. It just one of those things that just kind of got pushed under the carpet.
Over the past 5 years, Joran has been caught on tape admitting involvement in Natalie's disappearance. Just last week, the U.S. Attorney in Birmingham announced charges of extortion against Joran for plotting to ransom his knowledge of the missing teen's whereabouts and details of her death.
He was trying to extort $250,000 to provide evidence about where Natalie is.
Well, you know, that shouldn't surprise you because every time, you know, throughout the past 5 years, we've had several occasions where he's come and said, you know, he's going to tell the story now. Every time, Craig, it's for money.
As for Aruban authorities, Jug says they still deny mishandling the disappearance, and they claim the case against Joran in Peru looks weak. And how does Natalie's family feel about Joran in a Peruvian jail?
I hope they hook him up to a jumper cables. You know, the kid is a sick individual. He's a monster, and somebody needs to do something about it.
Well, I totally agree with Jug on that one, Craig.